How have you handled the international break? Have you sort of been resting the players that have been left behind, or have been team building, or has it been fairly intense training?
They've done a bit of everything really. They had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off. So if they want to go away, they want to go. And footballers love Dubai and places like that now, so they go away, they get a bit of sun, no problem. Then we get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We trained them. Wednesday was reasonably intense. Thursday and Friday were very intense, and what we wanted from them: a bit of tactical work, a bit of physical work. Then we give them Saturday and Sunday off. Then we were in, and we've worked a normal week this week. We've worked a good bit tactically, and then obviously waiting for the international to come back on Thursday, and then done a normal week. So it's been a bit of everything. Yeah, they needed a bit of respite, but they did that on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday we come back in, and we've worked them well, and then they can sort of regroup again and spend a bit of time with their families, and we make sure that no one goes away in that weekend, so they stay around and then ready for a build up into a week. So we think we've used it well.
Obviously a lot of attention to Stoke's position in the league, but this game's also about Bristol City. Do you see Bristol as Premier League contenders, or are they house built on sand?
Oh no, I think that last year they were. I think they've progressed. I think they've progressed through the years. I think last year they narrowly missed out. Second from last game or last game. They still had realistic opportunities of getting into the playoffs. So that was, and then now they would probably want to go one better. So they recruit. They're a real good model, to be honest with you. They get players in. They play a lot of young players. They sell those. They reinvest the money. Good owners there. It's a good club. I know the club very well from my time at Yeovil, and obviously I know the people there in terms of the manager, kitman, people who work around it. So I think it's a really good club. They've built a really wonderful stadium there. I think it's a very, very good club, and it's a stable club. So they work sanely. They, to be fair to Lee, Lee's been through as tough a times as I've been to, and he's lost 8 on the spin at one point, but come through it because he had good owners and good people who trusted him to do the work, and he's repaid that.
Nathan, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you some of the questions that people have already asked you, but I'm not sure if you're aware that it's 8 months now since you arrived at Stoke City. And a lot of people are saying we're probably in a worse position than we were when you arrived. How would you address that with them?
I can't defend the league position because we're 100% are. So if it was just results that they wanted to improve, then probably they could have gone for something else. The club's in a better position. The squad's in a better position. There's a better atmosphere around. But yeah, we are in a worse position in the league. Everything else, I feel we're in a better position, much better. I can't shout that from the rooftops when you've only got 1 point after 6. So that's the only thing we're faltering on, and that's the thing that pops his head above the water is your league position. Never mind the work you've done underneath, but the work we've done underneath will stand the club in good stead for years to come, regardless of manager.
Looking at the fixtures in this next month, we've probably got the hardest set of fixtures of anybody in the league. How do you think it will pan out? I mean, you must look at certain sets of fixtures and think, I'm targeting so many points from that group of fixtures, or do you just go fixture by fixture?
No, we have a monthly goal setting thing that we do, but I think the championship, potentially they're all really difficult fixtures. Some look easier on paper than others, but we've lost to those ones. The ones that you've looked at, be more difficult, and we've had a tough month this month. Beyond no illusions. Preston away, Leeds twice, Derby at home is tough. And then when you look at the form that some people have been in, we've played a lot of the ones who are in sort of top 7, top 8. So I don't think any set of fixtures are more difficult than the others. Potentially they can be, but it's how you prepare and how you go about your work.
And you've talked about we've had a difficult month and it's been intense, but we've also had international matches which affect Stoke City quite a lot because we've got international players. How have they come back from the international matches?
Look, a lot affects Stoke City. A lot. The transfer window, the European transfer window affects how we go about our work. The international fixtures affect how we go about our work. The African Cup of Nations, the international fixtures through the summer, so they all do. So we always feel we're playing catch up. Always feel we're fighting to get that real sanity, that base to do good work. But it's just part and parcel of doing it. They've come back. Peter came back, and he's had a big journey for a friendly in Ukraine. Is that logical? We don't know. Joe Allen's come back on the back of 2 wonderful performances and 2 good wins, so hopefully it would have done him good. Sam Vokes has got minutes, so has Scott Hogan. So look, there's a lot. It could, in theory, be good. It might not be, but we'll have to see. But look, a lot of things affect our squad.
And talking about the European transfer window, now Badou Ndiaye is definitely a Stoke player. How's his training regime at the moment? Is he fully fit and ready if selected?
One thing you have to say. The first time I met Badou, obviously I knew of him and knew how he played and stuff. The first time I met him was in May, and he was a wonderful young man. To be honest with you, he wants to play in the top league. He believes that he came here when we were in the Premier League, and he wants to play in the top league. So we have a value on him. If that value was met, then I don't think we would have stood in his way. We didn't want him to go. At no point did we want him to go. We actually recruited for him to go because we believed someone was going to meet the value, because he's one, a wonderful player, 2, had a fantastic, couldn't have won anything else in Turkey, and then was voted the top midfield player in the African nations. So if there was ever a time for someone to come in and buy Badou, it was been then. So we did that preparation. That didn't happen, so he's now a Stoke player, which we are delighted for. But what it does with a lot of people, in terms of, because there was a number of ones that would have liked to have played in a top league. So we recruited for their, because our window shuts 3 weeks earlier than theirs, we recruited for them to move. They haven't moved, so suddenly we've got a bigger squad than we have. So it affects quite a lot, and we believe that a lot of them are in our best 11. So it's a difficult one. So look, we've had a tough tough decisions to make, but we're here now. So hopefully from this point on, we can all have sanity.
But do you think the likes of Badou Ndiaye, who played for us in the Championship at the start of last season, is mentally prepared for what he clearly considers as a step down to play Championship football? Do you think he's mentally ready for that?
Only time will tell, to be brutally honest with you. But it's not so much a step down. It's, look, he wants to play. He believes that he would get a number of opportunities, because obviously last year he played at Galatasaray. He went back on loan to Galatasaray. So he's been used to playing in the top league, in whatever. He came here when in the Premier League. So look, there's nothing wrong with that ambition. The trouble is, if their window shut at the same time as ours, then there'd be nothing. We could have got him back by the time of pre-season. There'd be no offers, so we move on. But with the window shutting, it just keeps everything open all the time. And we don't want to keep anyone here that doesn't want to be here. But for me, since I've known him, he's been excellent.
You talked about the diamond formation, and everybody else has kept going on about the diamond formation and if it's suitable to this squad and if it's suitable to Stoke City and this league. You've clearly changed it a little bit. You've said to try and get results. Do you feel now that you're going to have to keep with a fairly steady team, given that you've got a bigger squad than you wanted? But do you feel now, because perhaps some of the changes you've made haven't worked, and you've said earlier they haven't worked, that you're going to try and stay with a settled 11?
Look, we want to keep a settled 11. I'm not being, I don't want to be labelled a tinker man or anything like that, because I don't rest players. I don't do that. I don't do that. We stick with continuity. But what happens with continuity is when you win, when you perform, when you do really well, then you don't need to change. You just, if someone needs resting or someone's just out of form slightly, then you, with the squad you have, because you have 2 in every position, it keeps that only that continuity. We just haven't been able to do that, because we did keep pretty much a settled team for 4 games, for the first 4 league games. It's just with 1 point. So it's difficult then to keep when you have a strong squad as we have. Now, I believe in a certain way of playing, whether that's a system or whatever. If you play that certain way, it doesn't matter how you play or what system you play. It's just a group of players that believe in what you do, to implement how you go about things on the training ground, transferring that. That's all it's about. So I don't think it's a question of systems and so on. And bear in mind, I can't remember many teams creating the level of chances and conceding as minimal chances as we have, and then blaming the system. It's just because of results. People will look for something to look for, and I'm fully prepared to take that on. But it's, look, the system or the way we play and the way we train is something I believe in, and something that has got me relative success everywhere I've been. So,
last couple of questions from me. A lot of people are obviously looking for reasons to failure and what's happened that you've said is going to happen. One of the big talking points at the end of the transfer window was the fact that you let Thibaut go out on loan, and people thought that he was ideal in terms of he has pace that you've said that we need at this football club. Can you just explain why you did that?
I didn't want Thibaut to leave this football club. At no point did I want Thibaut to leave this football club. I offered him, I spoke to him on the Friday before the window shut. I spoke to his agent regularly, and I laid out certain things to him. Now, you can't guarantee that he's going to play week in, week out, because yes, he is a real impact player, but he has to learn the game. And I'm not going to say certain stuff that open me or Thibaut or anyone up to think. But I had no intention of Thibaut going out, but he made it plain that he wanted to go out on loan to gain things. So we had a conversation saying, okay, if his mindset is there, then fine, we will allow him to do that. We kept the squad, and with certain things, we wanted a 20-man squad. It may be up to 21, depending on Thibaut, but certain things happened in here that we can't divulge, but we've got a bigger squad than we would have liked. But I didn't want Thibaut to go. I reiterated that to his agent on Thursday. I reiterated it to him face to face on the Friday, and I gave him an opportunity. That changed. And
of course, you've got Mohamed Youth now back into the squad as well.
Look, it's been unfortunate on Mam. Mam's is a great lad. It's superb. He's no problem in terms of how he's been. It's just we wanted to move forward with certain things. We believed that allowing these to leave and telling them early, because we told them in May, would allow them a full window to move. Some did, some didn't. There's him and Julian Ngoy still here that were unable to get clubs. Some people think a lot of them would. That was the wrong decision. Why did you do that? We did it logically because of how we play, how we want to finally end up, and then we'd be fair to these people, because there's no real bad pros, bad eggs. So we wanted to be fair to them, and we have done that with everyone. Mam's just a little bit unfortunate. No one's come in for him. So yeah, he's still here.
And the last one from me, you're obviously still as passionate and as fired up for every point as possible. We know you're under an increasing amount of pressure, as are the squad, but are they all focused and raring to go tomorrow now?
Well, I hope so. I would imagine so. But would I realistically, you Stoke City, would you be under any more pressure if we had 8 points now? To win tomorrow is a prerequisite. We have to do that, regardless of whatever. Yeah. From the outside, it seems like there's more pressure, but we work sanely. As soon as that game's gone, you have to concentrate on the next one. You can't. We debrief. We can't dwell on that. If you dwell on that, then you never move forward. So that's what we have to focus on. Now, it's a tough game. It's the Championship. They're all tough games. Bristol are going to want to win the game for a number of reasons, but so are we. So, are we capable of winning the game? Definitely. Are we in real good form? Probably in better form than our points are showing. Do we have to change it quickly? Yes. Is there any more pressure on? I'm not sure.
Well, thank you for your time. Good luck.
Cheers. Thank you.